invite you now to join me in the spirit of prayer, meditation, and reflection. These are the words of Reverend Dick Gilbert. In the midst of a whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath. Relax your body. Loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process. And always there is more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not let that imperfection mark your everyday. Do not fear that we are all still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. And let us all give thanks that we can be more than we already are. Let us celebrate the power of the incomplete. For life is always unfinished business. I invite you now to join me in a time of silence. Almost 5 years ago, I was doing a candidating service for when you were interviewing me effectively. And I talked about this concept of the 200-year now. I'm sure you all remember every detail of it, those of you who were here, so I'm going to just give you a quick refresher here. This is an idea that has totally shifted my perspective of myself and my connection to the world. And it comes from the Norwegian Quaker sociologist Elise Boulding. And the idea is that we shouldn't think of the present in the sense of past, present, and future as a fleeting moment in time. We should really think of it as a 200-year period. We bring all the history of all those people we know with us, and we influence people that we may never know. When I think about that, when I first came across it, I thought about my own personal situation. One of the oldest people I know was my maternal grandmother, Annie Burgess. And it was always really cool because she was born on the 1st of January 1900. And I really hoped she was going to make it to the new millennium, because in the year 2000 she would have been 100, but she died at the good old age of 93. So the idea with Elise Boulding is think of the hand of the oldest person you touched and who influenced you. And then think of the hand of the youngest person you'll touch who you'll influence. So I'll work this through. My gran, as I mentioned, was born the 1st of January 1900. My mother, Margaret Ferguson, was born in 1931. I was born in 1962. I know I look much younger, but I was born in 1962. My daughter was born in 2003. So if she is a child, say in the 2030, they will live till 2100. 1900 to 2100. The 200-year now. Those are people we physically touch, not people we maybe influenced through the internet and all that. Those are people we physically touched and influenced. And our community is an intergenerational, multi-generational community. We have people in this room who most likely will live till 2100. Now, 200 years is mind-boggling to think about. But I think the important idea of this is we are not the end of history. We are not the end of evolution. We are basically just a link in the chain. Now, I would love to say my Gran Annie Burgess was a delightful, life-affirming, joyous person. She wasn't. She was racist. She was a religious bigot. And I would even say she was sexist towards other women, including my mother and my aunt, her two daughters. There was always favoritism towards the son. And yet, despite all of that, I knew that that woman deeply, deeply loved and cared for me. And that's an important idea, that people don't have to be perfect to love you. None of us are perfect. Sorry. But we are capable of love. We are capable of stopping those worst things from the past, that bigotry, that racism, that sexism, and pushing forward life-affirming values of inclusiveness, of equity, of justice, of love, of compassion, of care, of kindness. We are but a link in the chain. And that's what we are called to do as Unitarian Universalists. And it's not just about your own family. The example I used is, but we all can influence the children in this congregation. The question is, how do we want to influence them? And I want to just point out something, that this congregation started in 1959. 66 years old. So I invite you, and we're going to do this in the Action Sunday workshop, what values do you want to pass on to the religious community for 2091? I'm a physics major, that's 66 years from now, you see. I'm quite good at math. What values do we want to pass on from the congregation that started here in 1959 to the religious community here in 2091? That is the idea. So that's a kind of shrunken, I'm starting off easy. I'm not asking you to do the 200 years. I'm just asking you to do 132 years. Because that is the beauty of intergenerational community, that the influence goes long beyond our own lifetimes through this community. And the great Catholic thinker Dorothy Day says, we are communities in time and in a place. Our lives are touched by those who lived centuries ago, and we hope our lives will mean something to people who won't be alive until centuries from now. It's a great chain of being. And I think our task is to do the best we can to hold up our small segment of the chain. And this month's theme is imagination. So I'm going to ask you in this exercise of imagination, what world do you want to be here in 2091? What values do you want to pass on to the religious community? What values do you want to pass on to all those young people in your life who you'll hold their hand, you'll touch, and you will influence? And that could go well beyond 2100.